Hey, Pastor Steve Waldron here. A book written about 1916. I think it was actually a dissertation for somebody and it was the Bavarian Illuminati in New England, Vernon Stauffer. So when I read this, man, it is packed with information that I can't find anywhere else. I hadn't been able to on this particular subject. Now, of course, he kind of poo-poos the fact that the Illuminati maybe still was in existence in those times. I know Seth Payson in 1802 wrote a book on the Illuminati, and then they wrote on the Clintonian faction of the Columbian Illuminati. But what this does primarily, and what's so cool about it, something I didn't know, is in the presidential election, was it the 1798 election? I can't remember. But you had the president of Princeton, Timothy Dwight, who was the grandson of Jonathan Edwards. You had Samuel Morse, whose son, began the Morse code, and they're all coming out against the Illuminati. And so there's this big Illuminati scare, and it's kind of coinciding with the French ambassador coming here, and this coinciding, so they make the Alien and Sedition Acts, and there may even been some correlation between the fear of the Illuminati and the Alien and Sedition Acts at that time, that they didn't want people from other countries coming and subverting the U.S. And it went into Masonic lodges. You had George Washington writing multiple times saying he didn't think the Masonic lodges were necessarily inculcated here in the United States. When his interaction with the Baptist minister who had sent him Robinson's book, Proofs of a Conspiracy, he was from Scotland, he was head of the Royal Society or something like that, had written articles for the Encyclopedia Britannica that had started just in the 1770s, which the Encyclopedia in French, that was really an Enlightenment atheistic project, by Diderot and D'Alembert and others. And so Thomas Jefferson's running for president against John Adams, is what it is. And so the Adam factions is accusing Thomas Jefferson basically of being in cahoots with the Illuminati. Now, Thomas Jefferson did say some laudatory things about Adam Weishaupt, saying that if he was in similar circumstances with the state church squelching freedom of thought and all that, he's not so sure that he might not go with the good philosopher, Adam Weishaupt. Because, Adam Weishaupt, I've done a thing on the list of his works, and he basically was a philosopher, and he was coming out against the Immanuel Kant. He did the categorical imperative. He would have been more of an objectivist in the Ayn Rand tradition, but not exactly. Excuse me. So the New England and Bavarian Illuminati has just all kinds of sermons that were written out, newspaper ads, and they're basically accusing Thomas Jefferson of being in the Illuminati. And that's why, wasn't it, when Jefferson donated his library to the Library of Congress, didn't they take it to the streets and burn it or something? I'm remembering this from history, because they thought he had too many radical books in there. I don't think Thomas Jefferson was in the Illuminati. And George Washington was definitely not Adam Weishaupt. Don't believe any of that stuff. The Hessian soldiers may have had some connection, because Weishaupt had a very strong connection with Hesse-Cassel and Lafayette. He was definitely Masonic and had Enlightenment Illuminist tendencies, but I'm not sure it's ever been proven, I don't think it has, that Lafayette himself was in the Illuminati. But they did think he was somewhat of a radical, the Marquis de Lafayette. But this is if you just want to study the real history, not this goofy, hand sign, one-eyed, blah, blah, all this stuff that all these people are doing this and blah. if you want to read the real history of it, this is a great book that I would highly recommend. And you'll read stuff I think you'll never have read anywhere else, and you'll find fascinating. I know I did. I think I've read it twice, and I've just been blown away by it. So God bless. I'll talk with you later in Jesus' name.